Welcome to Pure Hustle Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando, and we're here for another Monday minisode mobile.
Yeah. So we are testing out our mobile equipment and trying to see what it's going to be like. This is very close to how everything is going to be when we're completely remote, and I'm recording in Texas and Orlando is in San Diego. So we wanted to give it a test and see how it goes. And so far, I think it sounds good. I think you sound good, Orlando. I hope I sound good.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. First of all, make sure to subscribe, make sure to smash that like button, hit that bell notification. But let us know in the comments, how's the audio? How's the video? Is it all good? And again, hopefully Mike and I will be recording in the same studio again one day, or on a visit somewhere, or maybe he'll have a studio at his home over in Texas. But anyways, let us know in the comments your thoughts. We want to make sure to keep the quality even higher than it was before when we were in the studio. So are you ready for today's Monday minisode topic?
Yeah. So today we are talking about the lies that paralyze you as a reseller, things that can just totally just cram up your reselling, or you're not really doing anything because you kind of get stuck. And so we're going to talk about those lies, kind of debunk them, and help to make sure that you are making as much profit as possible in your reselling business.
So the reason this came up is because things have been kind of rough this summer, and usually they are in the summer, right? I always say there's no summer slowdown, but I will say this may be the first summer that I'm experiencing a summer slowdown. And it's very easy to get caught up in these lies and just kind of go like, you know what? I don't know if reselling is worth it anymore. I don't feel like listing. I don't feel like sourcing. And you get, analysis paralysis, right? You start thinking of all the reasons why things are slow, and then you choose not to keep moving forward. And so I want to encourage all of you as you're listening to this Monday minisode, and maybe we might drop this as a podcast just for kicks, but we'll see what happens. But there's like these 5. Now there's a lot of them. So let us know in the comments the things that kind of, paralyze you and go, when I get caught up in this, negative talk, I choose not to do reselling anymore. I choose to check out. I'm just done with it. So the first one is this one we hear all the time, and it's true. We're not going to lie. Like it keeps happening, is that platform fees keep going up. So it's just not worth it. I got to promote listings. I got to, do pay-per-click. I have to pay extra value fees. I have to pay a fee here. And you get stuck in this, like, it's not worth it anymore. I'm buying all these items and I'm losing, 10, 20, 30%. It's just not worth it. What are your thoughts on that one, Mike?
Yeah. I mean, just to clarify, you said that this is true. It is true that the prices go up.
Yes, correct.
But just because the prices are going up doesn't mean that it's not worth it, right? Because the reality is everybody's got to find that number for them. You can get to a point where you realize, hey, I used to make $30 an hour reselling. It's down to 20 now. It's down to 15 now. It's whatever. As prices go up, if you're losing how much you're making, it might come to a point where it's not worth it for you anymore. If that is the straw that breaks the camel's back. However, it's kind of just the cost of doing business. Fees are going up everywhere. Rent, if you had a brick and mortar, is going to go up. The cost of your internet is going to go up. The cost of your power is going to go. So fees are going to go up. And it's just a matter of, can you adjust and can you make sure that you are still profitable? So you can't get too negative in that because otherwise, you're going to be stuck for sure. The next one we hear a lot about, and this was me when I first started reselling, was the fear of international shipping. Shipping international just felt like it was a bridge too far, that it was just like, I'm not sure, like this is for me. There's so much that could go wrong with international shipping, and I don't want to deal with the fees, and I don't want to deal with the paperwork, and the reality is, once I started doing the international shipping, especially with the programs that eBay allows and offers, now every platform is going to be different. So maybe international shipping might not be worth it on Etsy. I don't know what their programs are, but on eBay we have GSP, we have the international shipping program. But both of these things have very good systems in place that take care of most of the paperwork, most of the headache. Now they can be expensive for the buyers. It depends on which program you go through. But you've got to try it because some of our biggest sales have come from international, and eBay really does cover you. If something goes wrong on one of these international sales, especially GSP, you're going to be covered.
Yeah. And again, there's so many different ways to do it. And again, all you have to do is get yourself in a group that's positive. Join our Discord, join a Facebook group, there's plenty of places that people are positive and they're not negative about these things. Now, this is the one where I strongly warn you that this lie will cause you to just walk away or cause you to miss out on a ton of money because you're just like, you know what? If sales are slow for me, they must be slow for everyone else. And we had a whole episode on this. Check out, I forget which episode it was, about the reseller pitfalls. Being careful who you listen to, because what happens is, misery loves company. It really does. And in the reselling space, I would make the argument it's probably one of the most negative spaces out there if you really want to go down that rabbit hole. And what happens is you go, oh, it's summer slowdown, or it's whatever. You can make up it's I don't know, April downturn, or whatever term you want to give it. And then you start looking for those videos, and then you start catching, we talked about this too, like there must be a glitch, or eBay must be throttling. You come up with every single excuse. And in the end, it could just be you. It could be you've chosen not to list as much. You're not sourcing items that sell. You're not promoting things. You're not running sales. You may, just have been, like, for example, this last week, things have been slow. And I kind of got in this, humdrum for a little bit, but then I started tracking. I actually was not listening very much, just because, it's like summer, all these graduation parties I had to go to, and these festivities. And then I started realizing I am doing a lot of work as far as packing and shipping at times, but I just wasn't listening. And eventually not listening will catch up to you. So also understand there are plenty of people that kill it every day in reselling. And I'm not saying you have to kill it every day, but just because it's slow for you doesn't mean it's slow for everyone else. And just because it's slow for everyone else, it doesn't mean it has to be slow for you.
Yeah, it's all going to be, case by case. How much are you working? What are you willing to do? And even just what niches that you're in. Another thing that you often hear is there's not enough sourcing in my area. That, that's maybe, you guys out there in San Diego, you've got so many garage sales. The weather's so great. And there's truth. Every area is going to have its strengths. But the reality is we have a lot we could potentially source through garage sales in San Diego, but the cost of storing the stuff that you buy is significantly higher than somewhere else. So there's going to be pros and cons anywhere you go, but there's going to be a way that you can source where you're at, whether it's a local thrift store, whether it's through local deals like Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp, whether it's through garage sales and flea markets and swap meets and all of those things, or maybe you have to travel a little bit, but there's going to be something in your region. Now, if you're in a town with 100 people, maybe not, right? But within your region somewhere, there's going to be something you can source. And maybe you've got, a situation where you're going to have to figure out how to source on eBay, right? You can do eBay to eBay arbitrage. You can do other ways of sourcing inventory where inventory comes to you, even if you're in a location where there's not thrift stores and garage sales. So you can't use the excuse there's nothing there, because that just means you have more time to find where you can source from.
And there's so much. I find that most of the time when people can't find items to sell, it's because their knowledge is limited. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that you haven't taken the time to go out there and research, or you haven't gone on eBay or Terapic. And we have a whole episode coming up on research, or maybe it just dropped. I don't know where we're at here, but somewhere in our schedule, we have a whole episode upon researching. And researching is going to be your biggest tool to make money. Yes, I always say buy low and sell high. I think that's the number one rule in reselling. But I would say the number two is learn to research, learn how to find those items. And like Mike said, maybe there is nothing in your area. Maybe you're in the middle of nowhere and you have gravel roads and the nearest town is 50 to 100 miles away and there's no thrift stores or garage sales. There are people that make a full-time living just sourcing on eBay, just sourcing on Poshmark, Mercari, online. It's definitely doable. It's just, again, it's about researching, finding those things and getting them at a price that, other people aren't acknowledging, and picking it up quick. So definitely can make it. Now, this last one here, and this is the one, the tried and true. It's been said since we started the podcast. It was said even back in 2010 when I started reselling. It's that it's too saturated. It's not worth it to resell. Maybe you're brand new right now and you've been reselling for 2 or 3 months. And you're like, oh, I'm not making sales. There's just too much competition. It's not worth it for me. But the reality is there are always buyers, and the secondary market is constantly growing. All the stats say it. And on top of that, you have to understand that it's not only what you have that's going to sell it. It's your feedback. It's going to be your pictures. It's going to be your listing. There's so much into it that, saying that it's just saturated may kill the market. Now, if you go and say, hey, I'm going to be an Alan Edmonds, I'm going to be a Tommy Bahama, I'm going to be like a seller of stuff that isn't selling anymore, then sure, it's going to be too saturated for you. So again, you're going to have to expand and find other items to sell to make yourself profitable.
That's good. No, it's great stuff. It's so easy to think of the negative and to have an excuse. But the reality is there is a way to make it if that's what you want to do. And if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably a reseller and you want to make it. So no excuses. Get out there. Make sure that you're shipping internationally. Make sure that you're not getting negative when the sales are slow for you. That you realize that even if there doesn't seem to be stuff in your area, there's stuff that you can source. So get out there. And there's nothing too saturated if you're willing to move to another niche.
And we're going to keep it super organic because I got one more that I think people need to learn or realize is things always rebound. They always rebound in reselling. I can't tell you how many times, if you've listened to our podcast over 300, I think we're at 350 plus or whatever episodes, how many times you'll hear me say, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Sales are slow. And then 2 weeks later, I'm like, wow, sales exploded. Things are good again. And it's just a cycle of things. It's a roller coaster. And so if you're busy out there, you're doing everything right. You're sourcing, you're pricing competitively, you're promoting your listings, you're shipping on time, you're doing everything and sales are still slow. Continue. Keep moving forward because things do rebound. And even if you're sourcing items that aren't selling, they will sell eventually. So keep moving. And so hopefully this episode helped you out, this mini-sode. Hopefully everything was good. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on our setup here. And we look forward to catching you on a full-length podcast that we drop every Wednesday. And then we also, drop in between some other podcasts or other episodes here. And with that being said, make sure to be real.
Be relevant.
And be reselling. Leads.
Peace.